Let's now head live to Switzerland at the Munich Security Conference, where NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are currently addressing the panel at the Security Council. Let's listen to what they have to say.
President Ursula von der Leyen from Prime Minister Starmer, really rebuilding Europe's military-industrial complex. What, though, can you do now? How come you haven't managed to get all those, the money of Russia that you could actually give to Ukraine, and most of the Europeans agree with it? Why can't you just get it done and put pressure on Putin, as President Zelensky says, and as it's patently clear that there is not enough pressure on Putin yet? He doesn't feel enough pain.
On that we agree. Next week, I will sign a 90 billion euro loan to Ukraine, agreed in under 4 weeks, in an unprecedented speed. You might say it took us too long. We used to do things much slower before, but when push came to shove, we really put our money where our mouth is. And this is what we need to use as the strongest of message that when I first came to Ukraine, couple of weeks into the beginning of the war, Volodymyr, I told you that we would stand with you. And I preside over a parliament where the majorities are huge. And I want to say this because every second question, wherever we go, we're asked, but there's fatigue and people are looking away and you're losing your priorities on what you should do. My answer is, I was in the opening of the Winter Olympics 1 week ago, and the loudest cheer was for the Ukrainian delegation. And that is what shows spontaneously that the people of Europe are with you. What have we done since the 24th of February 2022? So we have the immense increase in GDP expenditure on defense. That's also thanks to your leadership, Mark. Secondly, we have adopted an unprecedented number of sanctions in terms of packages. We're waiting for the 20th package now. We are working and agreed with Volodymyr when he talked about the next step on what we should do on the shadow fleet. We have 2 new members in NATO, and this is particularly personal for me because one of my sons is serving in the military of one of them. And that is what would never have been done if it were not for Ukrainians fighting for the freedom that we took for granted, that we looked away, that we took too long to respond to. But I would say that today we are there, we will be there, we need to take it to the next step. On enlargement, I can answer you. I preside over a parliament massively in favor of that. This is a win-win. It's not about charity. We need Ukraine, and we need Ukraine to be part of the European family. And we can do much more, and we can do much, much, much more. And we are there for it.
As President Zelensky pointed out, still Russian tankers are patrolling your waters with their
we have over 600
war
that
money.
have been detained, but we have to do much more.
Okay, Senator Wicker, senior senator, Republican senator. What more can the United States do? We've had a year of so-called negotiations in which every time we look around, it appears that President Trump puts more pressure on President Zelensky than on President Putin. There is a package of sanctions that's ready to go, I understand, both houses of Congress.
That's right.
So
that's right.
and
that's the good news. And what we've just heard...
Well, this is live at the Munich Security Conference, where the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is seated next to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the President of the European Parliament. And the President of the European Parliament has asserted that Europe or the Parliament will give a loan of 90 billion euros to Ukraine starting next week. Big development there.